Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the FPL Watchlist here on the Fantasy Football Scout channel for game week 9. I hope you're all doing well. Happy Wednesday to you all. Champions League midweek. It's nice to have football back. That international break definitely dragged to now have football, Monday night football, Champions League Tuesday, Champions League Wednesday, other European games on Thursday, Friday night deadline. It is into the thick of football season. How are you both doing, Tom?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Good game week, good Chelsea win, and we've got a bit of a watch list outing tonight at Stamford Bridge.
We
So
do.
looking forward to seeing you guys later and watching Chelsea hopefully beat Ajax.
Yeah. Stephen, how are we doing?
Yeah, it should be fun tonight. I'll be in Stamford Bridge with two Chelsea fans, so I'll have to go under disguise. But no, I'm looking forward to it tonight, lads.
Yeah, definitely. Should be good. For those wondering what on earth we're talking about, we're all going to Chelsea. I'm going with my brother, but Tom and Stephen are also going for a little FPL watch list catch up beforehand, which should be very nice. We'll be there to pick apart everything we discussed during today's stream. There was lots of talk about stuff today that we're going to have a look at. The first thing we definitely need to talk about is how in form Victor Gyökeres is and how he is definitely the best forward and the best Arsenal attacker, because Saka hasn't returned. In the last return he's got was that penalty which Gyökeres should have taken. So apart from that, Gyökeres is definitely the most informed Arsenal attacker, and he's the one that we should have. Apart from, he was the one we all had this week and he didn't do anything. We're going to start with Tom. Tom has scammed his bench boost points this week.
That's rubbish.
Because he's trying to claim that Mukiele is his weakest defender and he should have been last on his bench. But realistically, Mukiele was not his weakest defender. So his bench boost actually didn't do very well. But he did get 98 points overall and he did get a nice big green arrow. So Tom, apart from your bench boost not being that great, how was your week?
Well, my week was very good. My bench boost was also very good. None of you lot were telling me to move my Sunderland defender last week.
Well, that's because it was Alderete and he was flagged. So we didn't need
Yeah,
to
but
have
it
that
was never
conversation.
even a conversation. Yeah, but I can honestly say that was my genuine bench, hand on heart, because I think Senesi, Lacroix, they're all better picks than Michele. I still can't say his name.
You can't take his 17 pointer from your bench boost and still not know how to pronounce his name.
Can you say it once more for me?
Mukiele.
Mukiele, fine, Mukiele. I keep thinking of the Chelsea legend, that's why. So yeah, I did swap Alderete to Mukiele. I did
Mukiele.
swap him on Saturday morning, because I just thought I'm playing the chip. I've planned the chip. I'll be so annoyed if Sunderland keep a clean sheet and I've got Alderete and he doesn't play. So I thought I'd just do it. And then, of course it's massive luck that
Yeah.
that he obviously scored. But yeah, it was pretty fun when he did on Saturday. Dubravka, I guess that's the main one, because we have him every week, and we used him in a week where he did well. So that was good. Gabriel again. I mean, the guy's on fire last night as well. Goal and an assist last night.
Did he get an assist as well last night? I saw the
Yeah,
goal.
he got an assist. Yeah.
It's just unstoppable, this guy.
Yeah, Raya did well again. I guess can't. I know we complain about him. We got a bit of heat in the comments for moaning about him last week, but 2 clean sheets in 3 is, you can't really ask for more. Fernandez, it never doubted him against Liverpool. I thought he was good again. He's just a good pick. But then outscored Saka. And then, yeah, Anderson came in with DEFCONs, exactly 12, which I needed for my bench boost. So good week all round. And yeah, and Dye got DEFCONs, as I told you he would, against Man City.
He got them at half time. Or he got 11 at half time.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Yeah.
And Beto, you text me Beto done something stupid again. That's a surprise.
Yeah, Beto missed another big chance. He had like a 0.6 XG in that game, and it was all from one shot, which would have been an Ndai assist. So yeah, Ndai owners over the past 2 weeks, 7 and 4 is a fine return for a midfield at his price, but he should have had even more from those last couple of games. He looks like just a great, reliable pick that you can just roll out every week. So quite happy to have him. But no, it was a great week for you. Congratulations, Stephen. We'll move on to you. Still a green arrow for you?
Yeah, a green arrow. Happy to say that. Yeah, not as successful of a bench boost as Tom had. Obviously, you went from Alderete to Mukiele, and yeah, I didn't do the same. I still managed to get some points on the bench, which was nice to see. But a bit surprising to see Gvardiol not start or not even not get any minutes at all. So that sort of puts a bit of a damper on my week. To be honest, I was looking at that, and obviously he didn't start on the bench when I played this. Senesi was first on the bench, but this will take that and. A few fires to put out with this team, but overall happy with how it performed. Raya and Gabriel, obviously the double Arsenal defense coming up big, and Alderete and Dubravka bringing up the points on the bench boost. I don't know, would you guys say this is like a successful amount of points on a bench boost? Would you say so?
Yeah.
Well, it is, but I'd like to see Harry have a go at you for picking your Spurs defender over Senesi and your Sunderland one, which is what I did. So I guess it actually wasn't wrong.
Let's hear it, Harry. What
Yeah.
do you have to say about that?
Yeah, you would have been starting Alderete and then over Van de Ven, and then you really only got 11 on the bench boost. So the both of you have just made it look better than it really is. It's like having, next thing you know, you're going to be having Haaland on your bench and pretending that that was your real bench boost.
I'd seen enough of Aston Villa attack this season to start a Spurs defender over them. So that was the justification there.
To be fair, when Van de Ven assisted Kudus for that second goal, I had my heart in my mouth as a no Spurs owner when their combined ownership was about 90%. But yes, it then got ruled out. Stephen, I just wonder if you want to switch to your other mic. It's not coming through particularly well. So sounds... Heather's just mentioned it in the chat. Just while I have a look at my team. So I got 70 points this week. There was no chip played, but it was enough for a small green arrow to move me inside the top 1 million. Raya, Gabriel. I know we had lots of chat about Raya last week. I've actually come round to the fact that I actually quite like Raya again. Partly because as much as I'd like Timber in my defence, if I go Gabriel Timber, I then don't have space for some of the other premium defenders like Munoz that I quite like Virgil van Dijk further down the line. Whereas if I go Raya Gabriel, I'm going to keep the double up on Arsenal for quite a long period of time. Whereas if you don't have Raya, if you're going Gabriel, Timber and Munoz, that's quite a lot to spend in defence, and then you're never playing some of your cheaper ones. So I apologise to David Raya. You continue to get me 6 points every week. You are going to keep the most clean sheets in a Premier League season I think we're almost ever going to see. They're getting scarily close to the Chelsea record already. There is already slight doubts in my mind about whether they can get up to... I wouldn't be surprised if they...
15 goals.
I don't think they'll break the 15 goals, but I wouldn't be surprised if they kept 20 plus clean sheets this season the way that they're going.
Did we get 25 once? Is that the record?
I think it's 25, yeah.
Yeah, that would be incredible, but...
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they kept 20 this year. They look so good defensively. Another one in the Champions League, just 0.7 XG conceded. They're conceding 0.5 XG per 90 over the past 6 weeks. So, yeah, and to be honest, my team looked all right going into this week. It didn't look great. I had Ilman and Dye away at City and Fernandes away at Liverpool. So to get a green arrow from it, I'll absolutely take it. And I rolled the transfer, and I got 4 transfers to use this week if I want to. Or I can roll. The only thing, I suppose, is Anderson. A few Anderson owners knocking around. There was a Fulham video this morning of the team in training. We weren't expecting him to be in it, but he wasn't in it. So that's one that we're going to keep an eye out over the rest of the week to see how long he's out for, of course.
Hamstring, yeah.
Yeah, apparently it's only a grade 1. So it's not meant to be that long. But if it's worse, then yeah, he will be out for a while.
Just first of all, I hope my mic is okay now. But
better.
Just another point on the Arsenal defense I wanted to say is that, when you look at some defenses over the past few seasons and you say like, oh, if they lose this player, then it all goes out the window. But they could lose any of those 4 starting players and the 4 replacements are all amazing. So I think it's a huge point in Raya's favor because he's going to play every match anyways. So maybe we shouldn't have been so harsh on him last time.
I reckon they could lose all 4 of their defenders and still be a top 4 defense in the league.
Agreed.
Like their back 4 is still top 4 in the league, I think, which again just shows that the depth is so good for them that, yeah, I mean, having one now doesn't do... I think the ownership has hit over 100 last week, I believe. So having just one of them in your team doesn't do anything for your rank. In fact, if you only have one, you want them to concede unless, it's Gabriel and he scores or gets an assist every week like he's doing at the moment, or they get DEFCON. But from a goals conceded point of view, if you only have one, it's not doing enough for you. So, it's time to have a look look at where the best double ups are. And everyone's gone to Timber as their second one, really, or Raya. But I do wonder if Calafiori is now one that we should have a little bit of a look at. Didn't start in the Champions League last night, and how he came away with 0 returns against Fulham. He scored, which was such a marginal offside. He has such an eye for a goal. Like, so many times we've seen Calafiori come up and score an absolute screamer. So I think Gabriel is a lock for all of us. I think he still remains the best one, even with his price going up. But I'll start with you, Tom. How do you rank the others? Like, there's no talk of Saliba at all anywhere, really.
Yeah, you'll have to remind me of Saliba's price, but he's over 6, right? Or
I think he
is 6.
is 6.
Yeah, so he's now the same price as Timber.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any justification there. Calafiori v Timber is a bit more interesting. 5.8, 0.2 cheaper now. Like you said, that goal he scored that was ruled out was an incredible finish, to be fair.
It was. And I feel like he's got that in him. I'm sure we've seen it from him before.
Yeah.
Yeah, 0.828 XG per 90 is pretty good for a defender. It's like almost a goal every 3 games, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, that's pretty incredible. There's no reason why he'd rotate. He's obviously missed out last night. It's EFL Cup next week. So where you'd expect he would miss out again. So I think if you're buying this week, if you're sitting there with Gabriel or with Raya wanting to add one more, I'd do Calafiori.
You'd go Calafiori now over Timber.
I think so, yeah. Although I would say I probably would pick Munoz over Calafiori.
Interesting. So you wouldn't double up?
Well, I think you can think about it as a double up, or you can think about Calafiori versus Munoz. But if you really want to double up this week, it'd be Calafiori for me over Saliba and Timber, with Gabriel still number 1.
For me, it's a bit like, so the question of like Calafiori versus Timber, it also comes down to like Miles Lewis-Skelly versus Ben White. And I just think Skelly gets more minutes in the Arsenal side over the course of the season anyways. I still think Calafiori is a good pick. I will say the XG per 90 has been inflated heavily from his, I think he had like a 0.99 XG chance in the first game of the season where it just came off his chest on the goal line. But I do think he'll still get some good attacking returns over the season. And I don't think we should be put off by this Crystal Palace at home fixture anyways, because to be honest, Arsenal can get a clean sheet against anyone in the league. And it's a home fixture, so that kind of sways it a bit more as well.
The thing I'd say on Lewis Skelly is I agree. I think Lewis Skelly is a better replacement for Calafiori. But the only caveat or the alternative to that is it then also means that Lewis Skelly is more likely to be rolled out in a game that's slightly more difficult. Like we saw last night, right? Because Ben White's not a good backup to Timber, Timber has to play Atletico Madrid, whereas Calafiori doesn't. Like Calafiori got rested last night. So there is part of it that makes me think maybe he just plays the same back four in the league all the time and Calafiori gets a rest in the Champions League, whereas Timber, because he doesn't trust Ben White as much, just gets rolled out all the time. So it might be that Calafiori just plays every weekend and Lewis Skelly plays every midweek game. There is that midweek, I think it's game week 14 or 13 at the beginning of December, which for both of them, you'll have a worry with, right? They play Brentford at home in between Chelsea away and Aston Villa away. And that is a midweek game. So that will come for a concern for both of them. I think it's quite close between them. I do think the attacking data is inflated, but then again, the attacking data doesn't include the offside goal that he's just scored against Fulham. So I think there's...
Balances out a bit.
Yeah. But I understand your... Sorry.
Well.
Yeah,
He's
point two.
well.
I understand your point, Tom, of, you know, is someone like a Munoz a better pick than a Calafiori? But, and maybe that goes back to the fact that actually Raya is the best second option again, because you want a Munoz, you want a Gabriel, and then there are so many good cheaper options that maybe having Raya is a good double up, so you don't have to use that second defender spot.
Peter made a good point in the chat. He said, only bad thing about Arsenal defenders is that they don't have as good knee slides that Maguire has.
Harry Maguire. I mean, I would love to know the data on how many last minute winners or last minute clutch goals he scored for Man United over the past like 5 years, because I'm sure it's always him whenever it happens. As soon as I saw that goal notification go in, I was like, I bet it's Maguire.
He is our best striker, hands down.
Yeah, he seems to be. And Bruno Fernandes was about to be subbed off, and he just put this first time volley into the box to get an 8-pointer. I feel very lucky that I got those points this week.
Yeah, it was a good delivery, but I agree. It's a lot of luck involved in that one.
Just to open up the slightly broader debate in terms of defenders then. Tom's point of Munoz is a very valid one, that from next week, having a look at a Munoz instead of another Arsenal defender is going to be something that people do. He got 2 assists this week. He got an assist last week. He is probably the only attacking defender that gets enough attacking returns to outweigh picking a defensive contribution defender from the same team, is him over someone like a Richards or someone like a Mark Gay. I really like Munoz. I don't know if I've necessarily got space for him in my team at the moment, but he's got to be on all radars from next week, right? Tom, you've got a plan for him?
Yeah, for sure. I was watching Match of the Day on Saturday, and I just thought, like, there's a reason why he was so good last year. I think we owned him for quite a long time, Harry, and he just kept delivering. I think he's the most fun player to own in the game, which obviously does count for something. And has he got DEFCONs 3 times? That's pretty good for a fullback. 3 out of 8. Obviously very attacking. And Palace, I've got lovely fixtures from 10 onwards. Like, I was looking at my looking forward defenders. You play him and Gabriel every single week. And then you just have to find one more. So yeah, I'll be doing, and I know it's a bit sideways. Like, obviously you're talking about Gay, Richards. I've got Lacroix, but I'm more than happy to change that, to be honest. I just think Lacroix is probably the worst pick. I'm not sure how Gay keeps getting attacking returns. Like, he's got rugby tackled for a pen and then gets an assist.
Oh, don't. When I see it come up, there's a penalty and it's like, Gay's won it. I'm like, how is this happening every week? Surely it's got to stop eventually.
But yeah, I think, I mean, Richards has got them 4 times in 4. I think is Munoz or Richards. But yeah, I'll be going to get Munoz because I just think he's going to get a couple of 15-pointers soon.
Yeah, I think Triple Palace is probably the way to go if you can get it from Game Week 10. I think if anyone, I mean, I don't think there are many, Game Week 10 wildcarders, but if I was, I'd have Triple Palace for sure. Munoz, Sarr, and Mateta, of course.
Yeah, I have Tarkowski in that sort of Munoz type spot. And I'm looking.
Well, yeah, that's a good example. Like, I'm guessing you prefer Munoz.
I do, but like Tarkowski has Sunderland away, Fulham at home in 10 and 11. So I'm unlikely to ever make that swap until maybe 12. But that's when the Liverpool fixtures look good. And I know they've not defended well, but I do wonder about Van Dijk in that spot. So I don't know. I like Munoz a lot. And if I suddenly got a lot of money, I would love to have him. But I don't know if I'm necessarily going to have the transfer to do it. I suppose the question then boils down to, if you were on wildcard this week, who are the 3 defenders, or let's do 3 starting defenders and goalkeeper that you'd look at? It sounds like we'd go Raya again.
I do wonder about Sanchez, for these fixtures. Or do you think that's silly?
I don't think it's that silly. I think we spoke about it last week and thought that it was fine. We were very lucky to keep a clean sheet against Forest at the weekend. I think I'd probably go Pope if I was on wildcard still.
So you'd have Gabriel, Munoz and Timber or Calafiori?
Right now, probably. But then I'd be benching Senesi this week.
Yeah, you can't forget about Senesi because from 12, he looks really, really good.
So then do we need to be playing a back 4?
Yeah, probably. I mean, with how the dream team's looking this season, it's all defenders anyways. And you could say that's because of DEFCON, but it's actually just because the defenders are getting an insane amount of, attacking contributions as well. So to be honest, I'd probably still go Raya and Gabriel and just have because I know they're going to play every week, but even if it's like a 5% chance that one of Timber or Calafiori or Saliba doesn't start, I think you just know you don't have to worry about it with Raya and Gabriel.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And then that opens up, you go one more premium one in like, I've got Tarkowski, but you go to Munoz, and then you have your cheaper ones to rotate in with it.
In
Yeah,
an
exactly.
ideal world, I think you looking at the fixtures, you'd want double Arsenal, Chelsea, and Palace. But with like Senesi and that's 4 million on the bench, but is that actually workable? Because if you pick Sanchez, then you got to pick 3 premium defenders basically with Munoz, or you go Richards, Sanchez, Calafiori, Gabriel.
So many good defenders all of a sudden. It does open
Just
the
Yeah.
question
quickly,
to play in the
Chelsea
back
centre
four.
backs. Harry,
Don't
anyone to recommend?
Chalobah. I wouldn't buy anyone that's not Chalobah from the Chelsea defence. I don't like the Reece James pick. Every Chelsea fan who gets asked about Reece James just sort of shrugs and goes, I wouldn't do it because we've all been there. He has been fit for a long time now, but I actually don't think his attacking threat and his attacking data is that worthwhile to take the risk over Chalobah either.
That's a fair point. I mean, his goals were quite like his assist. He just nudged a free kick.
Yeah.
Mm.
It wasn't a cross or anything.
Yeah. I wouldn't go Josh Acheampong either, which has been a popular question. He won't be starting the week that you suddenly need a defender. I would rather have a 4 million defender who's at least going to score 3 points every week to sit last on your bench, because you're not going to...
He doesn't get DEFCONs either.
No, I mean, you could just... He rarely comes on. That's the only thing. So, like, you could just start Acheampong, and if he doesn't start, you get someone off your bench. But, yeah, I just think there's better uses of your cheap defender and your Chelsea spot, probably.
There is a lot of really good cheap defenders because, like, obviously there's Senesi and Richards, but there's also, like, I know he's injured at the moment, but Anderson at Fulham, with their fixtures after game week 9, like, they play Wolves, Everton, Sunderland.
You haven't mentioned a player I might buy this week.
Who's that?
Who's that?
Mr. Michael Keane.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Because
Good shout.
Branthwaite reports, I know that's been confirmed, hasn't it now?
Yes.
Branthwaite's had another
Yeah.
surgery, so
They play Spurs this week at home.
yeah, I mean it's not bad to be fair, but even still, like Keane's going to be good like long into the new year. You would have thought now.
Yeah.
4.5 DEFCON's goal threat.
I don't mind him. I would say as a Tarkowski owner, I would be a little bit cautious of what their fixtures actually look like. He'll be good long into the new year, yeah, but there aren't actually that many games apart from like the next few that you'd actually want to play him with. But if it's just to sit there, then I think it's fine. But like I'd rather go like Richards and have a double up on Palace than buy that, I think.
Interesting. Yeah, because I could get Richards instead.
The only thing is if you prefer triple Palace elsewhere. Because the Palace fixtures do just look like great for just a very long time. That you could probably hold them until your wild card, probably. Like, I don't imagine I'll ever sell Richards, as an example. Whereas Munoz, you might, depending on how reliant the attacking returns are. But yeah, I probably would go Richards over Keane.
Could slide in
Even
like
though I'm going to buy
Leeds.
Munoz next week.
Sorry?
Even though I'm going to buy Munoz next week.
I would still prefer either. Palace fixtures are much better.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
It's just if you wanted that spot for something else. Sorry, go on, Stephen.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, all these cheap defenders, and you still have those promoted teams. Like Leeds are third for expected goals conceded so far this season.
Yeah.
And one of my mates started. He played 3 at the back, all 4 mil defenders, and Dubravka in nets, and he got Dubravka 9-pointer, Mukiela 7-pointer, Alderete 6-pointer. Like, it works,
Yeah,
I don't know why he has 4.
I'm having a look at one of them for my team this
Go
week.
for 2, honestly.
Yeah. I don't have any 4 million defenders in my team, and I think I probably should have at least one because they are performing very well.
That Dubravka clean sheet, are we going to talk about that? What was it? 4 big chances, 2.6 XG or something. And he's walked away with 9 points. Incredible.
That was huge.
Yeah, and 2.6 XGC is just wild.
And what did Burnley score 2 goals from? Was it like 0.5 or something?
Yeah.
Big Screamers.
Yeah. Yeah. A fun fact that Wolves are 4th for XGC over the past 6 weeks.
There you go.
That absolutely blew my mind. I was like, how have they been? They've just been so unlucky that they just keep conceding really bad goals and scoring own goals, which doesn't help. Um, Cool. Let's move on from defenders. Let's talk about midfielders. And Chelsea midfielder Enzo Fernandez has posted on Instagram today ahead of the match, which is always a nice little indicator. He didn't post before the Forest game, and then he, of course, missed out. He was training on Monday, training on Tuesday, so we're fully expecting him to be at least be in the squad this evening. I think there's no one's really denying whether Enzo Fernandez is a good pick or not. I think there's two questions that come up with him is, if Joao Pedro drops back into the 10, does it make Enzo Fernandez a worse pick? Because does he play deeper? And the second one, is Ismail Assar or Iliman Ndiaye a better pick than him? Those are probably the two questions that there's got. Tom, I'll start with you in terms of his positioning.
Yeah, so his positioning, sorry, caught me off guard there. His positioning, so going forward, obviously we usually play with like 2 10s. I've seen people say that if Delap's now back in training, which to be fair, Delap will still be a few weeks away. Like he's not going to be rushed in.
I would say Delap is after the international break, realistically.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So, but even with Delap, like we've always kind of played 2 10s under Maresca, like usually Enzo and Palmer. You can go back, look at the Conference League final. The goal that Enzo scored was Palmer's cross. Like if Palmer starts, I know he's not going to, but you can say if Joao Pedro starts in the 10, it doesn't mean that Enzo Fernandez will be that restricted. Because it's usually Caicedo and a fullback inverting that go behind him. If he's fit, he's definitely going to start against Sunderland. He's always a good pick. I guess Guiu could play. We could go Enzo, Caicedo, Joao Pedro, Guiu on Saturday. But I think we have to see if Maresca actually trusts Guiu. Like, it wouldn't shock me if Tyree George plays up front tonight. He just seems to prefer it. But yeah, positioning wise, he'll be great. He'll be nailed for minutes. Penalties, we don't know, which probably puts him behind Ndiaye for me, I think.
Okay.
I don't know. That's kind of close.
Yeah. The thing with the positioning is I don't think he gets deeper, but if he plays number 10 and Joao Pedro's up front and we play like Caicedo and Lavia or Caicedo and Gusto, it does mean he has that whole number 10 space to himself. Whereas now he'll probably
but Gusto
share
is
it.
kind of there though, isn't he?
Yeah, but
Gusto, for some reason, seems to be playing like our right winger or something.
I know. But like when it is someone else, like a Joao Pedro or an Enzo, he will share the attacking threat slightly more, I would say. His positioning won't change very much, but it might not all fall to him compared to what it has done in the past.
Yeah, what did we do? Well, game week 2, right? That's a good example.
It's the same lineup as we're expecting versus West Ham. And Enzo did score. He did score like a 0.8 XG chance, which I think was from a corner. But if you want to know his positioning that he's going to play,
I don't think it was, but it was a tap in. I think Esteval did a really good run.
Okay. If you want to know more about what's going to happen with Enzo, I'd go and watch the highlights of that game against West Ham, because that is basically the lineup that I think will play.
Yeah, so that is...
It was Delap, but it was Joao Pedro and Enzo, Caicedo, Neto, Esteval, yeah.
Yeah, against Brighton when he scored, he was just behind Joao Pedro. That was Gusto in the 10 as well, wasn't it? Yeah.
Stephen, how do you see him versus other midfielders at his price? So like a Sarr or an Ndiaye or a Grealish?
Yeah, I feel like for me the top two at that price are Enzo and Sarr, and like I was doing an analysis of them this morning, and it was like they're so neck and neck. Like in terms of expected goal involvement, Enzo is 0.62, Sarr is 0.61. So it's like not much of a muchness there. And then it really comes down to, I feel like both are great attacks. Obviously, Crystal Palace have been like they have the highest XG of any team so far this season, but Chelsea are no scrubs themselves going forward. The thing that maybe edges it for me towards Enzo, firstly, his fixture this week is much better. Sarr plays Arsenal. The other thing, even for like from like a long-term perspective, is Enzo's minutes, because with Enzo, if he's fit, he's going to play 90 minutes every game basically. And with Sarr, just the depth that Crystal Palace have in his position, once European competition starts, really ramping up, I fear about Sarr's minutes in the Premier League. I feel like I could see a few 60-minute subs for him going forward. Whereas Enzo, when he starts, I think he just plays the full game.
Yeah. I think so. I do wonder if Palace will get to a point where they rotate in Europe. Like we saw it with Chelsea last year in the Conference League. That
Surely. I mean, they've already won. They've already got a win, and that was their toughest game, wasn't it?
I think they've won twice now, no? Or is it only one?
Just once because they had qualifiers first.
Oh yeah. I think the other thing to talk about is what you do up front, because I'd quite like one Palace, one Chelsea, and it then depends what we do with Joao Pedro up front. Because the big other talking point this week is the Mateta hat trick, despite the fact that he was still the third biggest underachiever of XG this game week, which is crazy. But from game week 10, we're talking about Palace. I think we'll want a Palace attacker. So it's whether you go Sarr or Mateta, and then the other one is Enzo or Joao Pedro for a lot of people. And the lack of shots for Joao Pedro is concerning for a lot. I wouldn't go selling him this week, but it's really about that combination, I think, for me.
Yeah.
I mean,
Joao
what do you
Pedro...
guys...
Sorry,
I was just going to ask Tom, like, what do you think about Joao Pedro obviously moving back into the 10? Does it help him? Like, I didn't see much of a difference there, but I just wonder, do you think it's good for him in the long run to be playing in that 10?
I think it undoubtedly will be good for him. Like, even in the first half against Palace, he dropped deep and like played Andre Santos in for a big chance, which is kind of what his best skill set is. Like, he's not going to stretch defenses like when he plays with Mark Guiu. I think if he started behind Mark Guiu on Saturday, I can easily see him doing well. But then it's kind of like, is he actually threatening the goal or is he threatening the assist? And like, I think obviously with him, like he came into Chelsea, he scored with like his first 5 shots on target. It's like, and to be fair, they were when he was playing up front when they harried like the
But
Club
like,
World
weren't
Cup.
like 4 of them from corners in the Prem, or like 3 of them?
Well, he scored twice in the Prem, and they both were from corners. Yeah,
And then he scored against Brighton.
that
Oh, no,
was a corner.
That was Enzo.
Fulham was a corner, and West Ham was a corner.
And that's the only 2 goals he scored. So he hasn't actually scored from open play yet.
But then in the Club World Cup, he scored like 3 absolute worldies. So it's, low XG. I think we're at the stage where Mateta is. I think it's pretty easy to say he's a better pick.
I know it's recency bias, but Mateta does scream that he has Hall potential. I can just see, like, if Palace scored 2 or 3, the chance, like, Mateta could easily get 2 of them. Whereas at Chelsea, like, I mean, Joao Pedro could easily get a goal and an assist, but I'd be surprised if we win 2-0 and Joao Pedro scores twice.
Yeah, I guess, and obviously we don't know that he's on penalties. I know you think he is, but we still don't know that.
And when Palmer comes back, like, he'll lose them, right? Now, when Palmer's back is a whole other kettle of fish, but he will lose them when he's back, whereas Mateta will always have them.
And Enzo is just a bigger goal threat. I think it's kind of undeniable to say Mateta and Enzo is better than Joao Pedro and Sarr. I don't feel like anyone could argue with that.
No, I don't think anyone would disagree with that. And I think it's a good point, Harry, about like Mateta's Hall potential, because whenever you see get a notification, oh, Palace scored, it's like, all right, it's probably Mateta. But when it's Chelsea, you're like, could be anyone.
Chalobah
Could
probably.
could be Chalobah, It's like you never know. But Mateta is just that guy for them, isn't he?
We spoke about a minutes concern for Sarr. Do you have any minutes concerns for Mateta? Because like at the end of last season, we all owned him and he played like 50 minutes every week. No concerns?
It's like, obviously Nketiah is there on the sideline waiting to come in, and he is like a decent replacement. I just don't think I don't think he's good enough of a replacement to justify Glasner like rotating Mateta with how good Palace have been with him in the team so far.
And you said it, Harry, like the last Conference League game, the first game, he came off at halftime in a planned substitution. Like, so they're doing that in the first game. They're going to be qualified in 3 games.
Yeah. I mean, they play on
Good point.
Thursday and like keep an eye on that lineup.
But what they need to win, like they'll need to win 3 or 4 to probably 5 to get in the top 8.
Yeah.
So there's 3 games there that Nketiah will definitely start, I would have thought.
On a side note, I was away this weekend with a couple of friends and one of them had Mateta in his team and he was absolutely loving life.
as
Thought
you
you
would.
would say he was gutted that he didn't score 4 times.
Yeah, true. I saw the first one go in and he was really happy, and then he scored again, and then they got the pen. I was like, hang on, he's gonna score a
He
hat
could have
trick.
scored 4, to be fair.
Yeah,
Could have
he
Did
scored
you
could have
see the
done.
the
miss?
last, the
Did you
winner.
see the header that he missed?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, shocking.
it's just the volume of chances. Like only Haaland has more big chances per 90 than him this season.
And it's only by 2.
It's quite
Big
close
chance.
now. I mean, before this weekend there was a bit more of a gap, but yeah,
Yeah, he's closed that gap massively now. And when you look at like the XG plot for all the strikers, all the forwards in FPL, it is like Haaland and Mateta way ahead of everyone else.
yeah. The only other forward that we haven't spoken about is Voltemade, and he scored again. Didn't score in the Champions League, but seems to be ticking along quite well. Is it definitely that Mateta's better?
I think so. I think you're buying longer term. Don't think Newcastle are that good away from home. I don't think that's that uncontroversial to say. That controversial to say. He's obviously scored an incredible back heel, but
Yeah.
again, like you've just rattled off the Mateta stats. It's long term fixtures. I feel like if you buy Voltemade when he goes to Man City in game week 12, is it? You'll just be buying Mateta anyway.
Mm.
Would be my take.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Palace attack are better than Newcastle attack this season by quite a significant margin. So I just back Mateta to get more chances to score than Voltemade.
And Vissa will be back for the City game, so it's like you buy Voltemade, you'll be selling him in 3 weeks.
I'm just having a look at some of the like goal threat stats on the Scout website, and I mean, Mateta's just having more shots pretty much every week and more big chances, whereas Voltemade had loads of big chances against Forest, had 3 big chances, but apart from that, he had 1 against Brighton, 1 against Arsenal, and then didn't have any in the other 2 games. So,
And he scored a pen that he's not even supposed to take.
oh, was that against
Forest.
which is one of those? Fine. Yeah. I think I would go Mateta. He's slightly more expensive, but yes. Just to throw that out there then, Jinro has asked, what about not having Gyökeres and having 2 of them? Because Gyökeres is now banging form because he scored twice dodgy goals last night. not the most elegant finishes I've ever seen, but sometimes you need that to go in to start up a little bit of confidence. Is there any world where you would just not go for an Arsenal attacker and just go for Mateta and Voltemade and Enzo and Sarr?
If I was wildcarding, I think I would have money left in the bank, honestly.
Would you go no Saka, no Gyökeres?
I probably wouldn't. I probably wouldn't go for either right now. Anyways, like I think if I was building the best team possible right now, there would be money left in the bank, and I wouldn't have Saka or Gyökeres in that team.
I would want an Arsenal attacker for Burnley, personally.
Yeah. It's
But
that
that's another
single
thing,
fixture.
right? Sorry. That's
Go on.
another thing. If you've got Gyökeres, he plays Burnley next week. Are you actually going to sell him for Mateta before he plays the worst defense in the league?
No.
Not you personally, but
Yeah,
Because I was quite impressed by Brentford on Monday night. I mean, West Ham were truly dreadful.
yeah, I'm not quite sure that's a fair test. But
No. But like the thing with Mateta is, I don't think there's ever a week that you have to go, I need him for that week. But I think it's one of those that it's like, he's just so good for the long term. So the sooner you buy him, the better. But like, if in game week 10, you couldn't buy Mateta because he's got Brentford at home, like I'd like him for it, but I don't need him. Brighton at home, yeah, then Wolves away, then United at home. Like none of these games straight away scream, I have to have him. But over that period, I think he'll do well enough to want him, if that makes sense.
yeah, I mean, like, do you think, for example, if Joao Pedro starts at the weekend, does okay, maybe gets a goal, nothing else, you then, like, do you think that's a priority to sell? Not a priority to sell, but like, do you still love Mateta more, or
And then
because in my head, I'm kind of going to swap them next week.
Yeah. I've got in my head that I'll probably swap them.
Yeah.
It's a
I
tough
just
one
I
with
just can't
those
see
João
I
Pedro
can't see
fixtures.
Maresca. Sorry, yeah, they are good.
Sorry, what were you going to say, Tom?
I was just gonna say I can't really see GU starting like every week. Like these people think it's like people think Joao Pedro is a lock in the 10 now because of the second half, but I just can't see it.
Yeah.
I mean, his data is like not great, and he did massively overperform at the beginning of the season when he was getting returns. I was thinking about this either last night or this morning. João Pedro was also completely frustrating at Brighton to own, and I know that was different, right? And he's now at Chelsea, but I do. Part of me just wonders whether he'll be equally frustrating this season as when we've owned him in the past. He's a great player, but the goal assist numbers are not as good as others.
Yeah, and he doesn't even have penalties anymore, probably.
No, that's true. So I think we're saying if you have a transfer and 0.1 at the moment to do Joao Pedro to Mateta is to give Joao Pedro this week and then go to Mateta next week.
What do you think about people who are considering a double move to also say, let's say they get rid of João Pedro, but get Enzo in if he's fit, of course.
Yeah, so I'm effectively wondering about that over the next couple of weeks of getting Enzo and then doing Joao Pedro to Mateta to give myself one Palace and give myself Enzo instead of Joao Pedro.
I mean, in a hypothetical scenario where someone has João Pedro and Xavi Simons, what would you say about them going Mateta and Enzo in this week? I don't think it's a
Do it
wise
tonight.
move, but
I'd do that tonight,
would
to be
you?
honest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Why do you need to do it tonight?
Well, no, I just meant like I would as
you
No,
in
would do it.
but I mean, why do you need to do it this week?
No, that's the thing. I don't think I will because
Could you not just do Xavi Simons to Enzo and then Joao Pedro to Mateta next week?
oh yeah.
that is my plan. That is my plan.
Yeah. I just didn't know if the value was tight enough that you'd need to do it before the deadline.
No, I can do it with cash in in the bank left over, but I do think like disregarding fixtures, like those two players are massive upgrades on the two that I have right now.
I mean, it's an upgrade on Xavi Simons, I think. Let's talk about teams. I'll put yours first up on the screen then, Stephen. You've got Raya in goal, Senesi, Gabriel, Gvardiol, Reinders, Semenyo, Xavi Simons, Bruno, Gyökeres, Joao Pedro, Haaland with 2 free transfers.
Yeah, I mean, a few fires like Gvardiol not playing was unfortunate. I mean, I hope. I was going to say I don't think it'll happen for this game week, but I cannot read Pep's mind. I don't think even he can. So yeah, I've started Gvardiol there anyways with Van de Ven first on the bench.
Yeah.
Then Reinders, I was about to say I'm happy to have him in there, but it's like it's just because they play Villa, and I'm like I don't even know will City score many past Villa because they've actually shored things up defensively quite nicely. So I will start Rangers there. And then yeah, Xavi Simons is the one on the chopping block this week. If I see Enzo play, any minute at all tonight in the Champions League, he will, Xavi to Enzo is just an obvious transfer for me anyways. And then the rest of the team is like, I've got Semenyo, he's staying in there. Bruno is going to stay in there. Haaland, and then the two strikers up top, obviously Gyökeres, but João Pedro, I just transferred him in, and I'm already like, I'm like, I want him out. Like, why did I do that? I should have gone for Mateta, but I can't say that now because I was never going to get Mateta in last game week. It was going to be Voltemata or Bowen. So yeah, Voltemata was the only one who actually did anything there. And to be honest, yeah, I have 2 free transfers, but I'll probably just use one of them based off the fixtures that I have in this squad. I think Xavi Simons has to be the one to go this game week.
I think that makes sense. Xavi Simons is probably the one I do. And then, like, what's your future plans with Gvardiol? Because you could look
so
at Gvardiol to Munoz next week.
That is my plan. I was going to do Gvardiol to Munoz. Previously, I was considering holding out and going for Van Dijk whenever Liverpool's fixtures swing, but I'm just not convinced by the Liverpool defense so far this season. And Palace just look great. And Munoz is not even a defender; like he is essentially a winger. So I think getting him in at any point, no matter the fixtures, is going to be a wise move this season. So yeah, that Gvardiol benching just solidifies the transfer out for me for him next game week.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Xavi Simons to Enzo, Gavardio to Munoz, and Joao Pedro to Mateta over the next couple.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Other than that, I'm happy enough with the rest of the players in the squad. Van de Ven, I'm not too impressed with Spurs defense, but he's the least of my worries, I would
Yeah,
say.
yeah. Makes sense. Tom, let's have a look at yours.
Yeah, so I feel like I'm a transfer behind in terms of like if I don't take a hit over the next few weeks, I'm gonna be without like one of Mateta, Enzo, Munoz, and Elliot Anderson sitting there with point 0.4, more expensive than Xhaka, which is kind of frustrating. And now Romero's flagged, and it's a muscle injury, and there's no time frame, and the good fixtures are over. I think he got 3 points in 3 weeks in his wild card, so yeah, not great.
Yeah.
So yeah, the initial thought is I mean, I could roll and play my Sunderland defender because I think they get 3 points at Chelsea,
Yeah.
which is not awful. I think it's pretty much guaranteed DEFCON. But then obviously the Brantford news made me think Michael Keane's a good 4.5. Obviously you've said Richards could get Richards. But again, it doesn't help me this week, to be fair. I mean, neither are great this week, I suppose. I don't really want to roll because then I'll have to probably take a price shop on Romero. Yeah. So there's a few kind of, and then it's like, how do I get Enzo? How do I get Mateta? The rough plan would be Romero to Keane this week, and then I've got 0.7 in the bank for who is it? It is Lacroix up to Munoz next week. And then I'll have 0.2 buffer room to do Joao Pedro to Mateta. But then I'm kind of stuck with Endai and Reinders. I can't get Enzo.
Anderson and Reinders, you mean?
Yeah.
Or are you thinking of selling and die?
Well, I was last week, but I'll probably not anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, then I'm kind of stuck unless I sell Gyökeres or Bruno. I'm in a bit of a hard place with it, to be fair. I'm not really too sure what I'm going to do.
If you were to do, I'm just trying to do the maths on it. I mean, it's just 5 transfers, but because you want to do Joao Pedro to Mateta. Yeah, I agree. The Anderson thing is slightly annoying because down to someone like a Xhaka. But like, if you wanted to do Lacroix to Munoz, you need to free up like 0.5. If you wanted to do Reinders to Enzo, you need another million, 1.5. So like Anderson to Xhaka and Romero to like a 4 million. It would give you 4 millions is the only thing. I just don't know how close you are in terms of money. But yeah, I suppose
That'll be a hit as well.
It would, yeah. If not 2.
Or
So yeah.
you could do Gyökeres
Yes.
to Mateta. And then that's basically... You could do Gyökeres, Reinders, Romero to Munoz, Enzo, Mateta.
Thing is, I think you can sell Gyökeres in 11.
But before Burnley, like...
No, you just have to not buy Mateta for...
Yeah, but then I can't do the other two, can I? If Gyökeres is funding everything.
Yeah, but okay, you just don't buy... It doesn't sound like you're going to buy Enzo this week regardless.
There is one way. I could do Romero to a 4 and then Reinders up.
But it doesn't sound like... It sounds like realistically you're probably not going to buy Enzo this week, which means you're not going to buy Enzo next week. Like, you don't need him for Spurs away. So you could just not do or make one defensive transfer this week and then next week buy Munoz and then in 11 sell Gyökeres before he goes away to Sunderland for Mateta and do Reinders up to Enzo.
Yeah, good points. But then obviously that relies on Joao Pedro just getting a bit better. But yeah.
I mean,
so yeah, regardless, I think Romero will go this week.
Yeah.
And I need to work out like whether it's Richards or Keane.
I'm just not sure.
One if you're looking at.
I don't know how much better Keane is than Mukiele this week. If neither keep a clean sheet, then there's nothing in it.
Yeah, but Romero might drop in price.
Well, yeah, but you could. I mean, you could do Romero to Richards, and just play Mukiele.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would do that. But yeah, I need to decide which 4.5 defender I want. Basically,
Oh, fine. Okay.
is Richards still 4.5?
Yeah, I have no idea how. He's on 36
I mean-
points
Because
already.
he keeps getting rugby tackled. That's why.
He does. I mean, Anderson, I would throw his name into the hat as well. I know he's injured at the moment, but like I'm very much considering, getting him in from game week 10 onwards.
To be
Yeah.
fair, if Silva says he's back in a week, I might even buy him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you're going to bench him this week anyways, would you? Or if he's
Yeah.
injured, but
Yeah. But the thing is, Fulham, is it 6 clean sheets in 45 games in the Premier League? They're just not very good. They're just not a good defense.
their expected goals conceded is really good, but it's same as last season. They just didn't keep any clean sheets, did they?
Last year they were like 6th for XGC, but like 17th for clean sheets.
Yeah.
Where are they? They are over the. They're 11th over the last 6 and 14th over the season.
For expected goals conceded.
Yeah, but they have played Brighton away, United, Chelsea away, Villa away, Bournemouth, and Arsenal already. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, depending on which, XG provider you use, they're actually 4th for expected goals
really?
conceded over the season for me.
Interesting.
But that's not Opta, which is what FPL uses on their website.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting. I mean, they are an interesting defense. I think the lack of clean sheets is probably fair enough to put you off them though.
Yeah.
But yeah, Romero out for me. Like, yeah.
He's got to go.
Yeah. Cool. And then finally, my team. I've got Raya in goal, Tarkowski, Gabriel, Senesi, Stack, Semenyo, Ndai, Bruno, Joao Pedro, Gyökeres, Haaland, and then Reinders, Anderson, Richards, and Dubravka on the bench. So basically, my biggest weakness is that last attacker. So either Reinders or it's Stack, and Stack is turning out to be a pretty dreadful pick. He keeps getting subbed early now. It doesn't get anywhere near DEFCON. Doesn't shoot. Literally doesn't do anything. It just runs around for 60 minutes and then gets subbed off. Literally. So I think he is this week's. Last week it was David Raya, and this week it's Stack that I'm just looking at. What is he doing in my team? I have exact money to do Anderson to a 4 million and Reinders to Enzo, which would give me the ability to start Enzo in that last attacker spot. Now, I could do Anderson to a 3.9, and that gives me enough money for Reinders to Enzo and Joao Pedro to Mateta if Mateta doesn't rise again before I want to buy him. Which, with it being a Friday evening deadline, I'm not that confident in it happening. I feel like I'd have to make the move on Friday night, which before both of them play doesn't feel like the most sensible thing to do.
There's no way you would do that, surely.
Yeah.
You don't think? If I was going to get priced out of it, the
Before
other option,
your entire team plays football, you would make a transfer. I suppose you would have 3, but yeah.
Yeah, I'd have 3 and I'd be using one of them. The other option is I sell Tarkowski. And that would free up more money. And that would depend on Anderson. If Anderson was going to be back soon, as Tom says, I could sell Tarkowski to someone like 4.5 or 4. Up to basically 4.8 and just give myself a little bit more of a buffer. But I quite like the idea of having a second premium defender in case I want a Munoz or a Van Dijk going forward. So I think the most likely is I do Anderson to, and there is a 3.9. Tuanzebe started the last 2 games for Burnley. But they just concede so many goals. I mean, they kept.
But you've used your bench boost already, so like, you don't really need them, do you?
But then I've got my bench is then Stack and Tuanzebe.
You can sort that out another time.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's nothing wrong with like we've got a Sunderland defender, but it's not massively different.
No.
I don't think there's a problem with having Tuanzebe last on your bench. I do think there's a problem having Stack just in your team in general.
Yeah.
But like,
I could do Stack to Xhaka as well. Just like do it just to have him on my bench.
There you go.
Yeah. I suppose that's the other thing, right? That if I got to next week and I then didn't have the money for Joao Pedro, I could sell Stack. I mean, I have to go to a midfielder who's like 4.9, which is basically Longstaff. I could go to Lafay, but he doesn't start every week.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of sacrifice to fit in those players.
Yeah, so maybe like Tuanzebe is just the one to, and then I just hope that Mateta doesn't rise. But I could just sell Stack down to King or something. But I like to have some sort of buffer on my bench. Like Stack to King also gives me the money. And then I could keep Anderson.
Join the King train. Join it.
He just keeps getting subbed early.
Like, what's the difference? Like, he gets 2 points and Xhaka gets 3 or 4. Like, it's really not that big of a deal, I don't think.
Yeah.
King's a striker. That's the difference.
Which I don't think's doing him any
striker
good.
who doesn't take shots. Yeah.
No, to be honest,
just runs around. He's like Stack.
No, yeah, literally is. Xhaka is definitely a better FPL pick than King, but it is the price difference, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's basically for me, if I want to do Reinders up to Enzo this week, it's where I get the money from. Yeah.
So you've kind of you've had enough of Reinders then.
I could roll as well, which is the other possibility, and then I'd have 5 transfers.
And then you can just burn that one and then go to the next week.
Yeah, exactly. And they are free hit and then just keep 5 forever. I think he'll start this weekend. I think he's fine to play this weekend. So I don't think rolling is impossible. But his minutes, and he just doesn't get enough attacking returns.
No, he doesn't. And with all the City players coming back from injury, I mean, I do think his minutes are pretty secure, but obviously it throws that into question slightly. And especially around his positioning. Like, if all those attacking options come back for City, he is not going to play as far forward as he has been.
Yeah. Yeah. So
and if he's not playing far forward, then it's like, City players don't really get DEFCON, so that's not even part of the appeal for him.
No. The other thing I did, which was my plan initially before Anderson got injured, was potentially selling Tarkowski in order to do Stack up to Enzo. Which is also possible.
Selling him too.
I think I have 4.4. I can't get Keane.
That's Maguire territory, that.
Oh, there you go.
I'm not.
But 4.4, like you just buy Tuanzebe, wouldn't you? There's nothing really at 4.4 apart from Tosin.
I'd probably buy like a 4 or a 4.1. Like I might buy like Rodon or someone instead. I think they're slightly better. I'd buy not a Burnley defender.
Oh, you could go for Makaleli.
Exactly.
He's come back.
Yeah. So lots of things are possible. It will end up being one of Stack or Reinders up to Enzo if I make a transfer. If not, I'll roll.
Nice. Makes sense.
And that is everything, I think, from the chats. There's not yet. Van Heck is the other one at 4.4 that I could afford, but I would want 4.3 because I'd want to leave money for Joao Pedro to Mateta. So we haven't really spoken about Bruno. He got 8 points, and now suddenly we're all keeping him.
Yeah,
but this is what he does. Like this is
what he does.
He's just a good pick. He's a good pick, and like I think everyone's got bigger priorities, to be honest.
Yeah, I completely agree. Bigger priorities, bigger fires to put out, and like, where else am I going to spend my money?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's fair. FPL Victorious Secret has asked, would I start Goodmanson or Van de Ven this week? I think I play Goodmanson.
Yeah, same.
At home to West Ham.
Yeah, same here.
Created a big chance against Burnley.
You see, I could go for him as my 4 million option. That's one I've looked at.
Yeah, Leeds are a better defence than Spurs, and West Ham are a worse attack than Everton. So
And it's at home for them, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Perfect. I think that is everything. Almost bang on the hour. Thank you very much, gents. I will see you both later. Thank you all for watching. I haven't plugged liked or subscribe or anything. So please could you do both of those things? Please like, please subscribe if you haven't. Have a lovely rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of the content on the Scout channel. We will see you all next week, and both of you, I will see you later, and then I will see you both next week again.
See you guys.
Cheers, guys.